Hi there everyone, welcome to Dandelion Delphi Tutorials. Today we're going to look at the final of 2019 question 2.1, which is the SQL section, and I'd really like you to try it yourself first before you watch this video. Before we start with question 2.2 of the final of 2019, you need to have a quick look at the design of the tables and the name of the tables that you need to use in your SQL statements. These pages you will find at the end of your exam paper, and it's important that you tear them off and keep them next to you while you're coding, since the database are locked with a password, so you will not be able to go inside and have a look at data types. So there's two tables. The one is called TBL Teams, and this holds information about the teams, like the team name, the coach, how many games they've played and won. These two are integer data types, and the top two there are text data types. Also have a look at the first four records of this table and note the name of the tables with a little space between the number and A or B. Then we have the table called TBL Players that holds records about the players in each team. So you'll see they have a primary key there as an auto number, a name and a surname and ID, and then the team name through which they are linked through TBL team. So it follows the same layout. And then their skill level, a number from 1 to 10, and whether they're a goalkeeper or not as a Boolean value. So here is question 2.1.1. Typically this would be a very easy question for you to accomplish if you know your SQL. So press pause and try it yourself first. It is important to look at your output. You will see we are only displaying two fields, and it's best to match them in the same order as well, having the surname first and the name second. And then our condition, which is our skill level, is not displayed. So here is our SQL statement. Now in an exam you are only required to do this part here in blue. If you've done this paper, you would have seen that the SQL1 has been provided, and this is code that will run that SQL statement for you. So you don't need to remember to do all of this. This will be given code. So in here, I am displaying the surname and the name. Remember, between select and from, this is what the user will see. And I'm reading this from TBL Players, since the name and surname of the players were in the table TBL Players. And the condition we had to apply was we wanted to see only those records where the skill level was equal to 10. Now remember, skill level was an integer data type or a number data type in your database, and therefore when I say equal to 10, I do not put the quotes around this number. So that was 3 easy marks for you to score. Now you need to do 2.1.2, so press pause. I'll show you the memo soon. Here we were required to display the name of the coaches, and that sat in the table TBL Teams. And our condition was that we only wanted to see B teams. So you had to write code to find any record where the team name ended with B, and there are more than one solution. So here's my first solution. I have a select with the coach name and the team name from TBL Teams. The team name appears in both tables, but since I need to display the coach, I'm going to use TBL Teams because coach only sits in TBL Teams. Then in my where, my first solution here is using a like. So what I'm saying here is find me all the teams that end with B. You could have a percentage and then a B. Remember, the percentage indicates any number of characters before the B, so anything that ends with B. You could also have a space there to say anything that ends with space B. Both would have found the correct answer, but what was important is that your double quotes is around both your percentage and your B. My second solution here looks the same at the beginning, but I'm using right for my team name instead of the like. So right copies out the last character, if I put a 1 there, of my team name. So if the last character was a B, again in quotes, because remember team name is a text data type, then I will find all the people who were in B teams. Now it's time for question 2.1.3. So the input code has been provided for us where the user selected a team from the combo box. We had to display the team name and the coach. So I already know I have to use TBL teams, and then the percentage of games won. And take note of the heading here because that will follow your calculation and then an as, and then you will put this heading before your from. Remember, what the user sees here is between your select and your from. So here is the provided code for the team selected from my combo box, and I'm displaying the team name, the coach, and then I'm doing my calculation to calculate the number of games won or the percentage thereof. So it's number of games won divided by the total number of games that they played, and remember to multiply with 100 when you're calculating a percentage. Followed then with my as, and then I have the name of that field at the top of my DB grid after the as. Then is my from, TBL teams, and now I have to find all those teams as per the input from the user. But remember, team name is a text data type in my database, and therefore I'm using quoted string around S name. When you have input from the user, remember that your variables should appear in black and not in blue, else it's literally going to look for the words quoted string S name. So we end our string here, then a plus, then our function quoted string, and then our variable in here if the field name is a text data type. You could also have coded it this way, where you use the double quotes here, but you guys often forget to close those double quotes at the end as well. So now we are at the second last question, and press pause and try it yourself. Now this question already has some clues for us. We are displaying the team names, and now on the right here in the second column I have an aggregate function. Remember, aggregate functions are min, max, sum, count, and AVG. So when I'm displaying a field and I have an aggregate function, then I will have a group by on the field that I'm displaying. In this case, it's going to be team name. And then further to that, it says that we only want to see those teams with an average skill level of more than 6. So when I have a condition like this on an aggregate function with a group by, then I know it's time to use my having. Also take note of the screenshot here where I only see 1 decimal point, as well as the wording here that say that you have to format this output showing only 1 decimal place. Here is the solution for question 2.1.4. I'm displaying the team name, I'm calculating the average skill level, rounding it off to show only 1 decimal place, matching the heading that I see there with the as. Then this is from table players because the team name sits in both, but the skill level only sits in TBL players. So I only need to read from one table, and that would be TBL players. Since I now have an aggregate function, also displaying a team name, I have to group by that field name here. And here is my condition on my aggregate function. Remember, when we have a group by and a condition on my aggregate function, I'm going to use a having. And this is where we copy this code out, the aggregate function, we paste it here, and then we have our condition to say I only want to see those with an average skill of more than 6. Be careful not to add the equals here because it did not say 6 or more, it's more than 6. Now when you have a select statement, I have a little mnemonic here at the bottom to help you remember. It says similar friends will go hang out, and this is the order of your select statements. So similar here stands for select, then friends stand for from, where, group by, having, order by. And if you don't have a where, you still have to, so let's say we don't have a where like in this statement, we still have to follow that order. We can't swap the having and the group by around. And if we had an order by with this, it has to always go at the end. So remember this mnemonic to help you remember the order of our select statements. And this brings us to the last question of question 2.1 for SQL. Press pause and try it yourself. So this was an update, and what was important is we are going to add 1 to the number of games won, but the under 14 Bs lost their game, so you want to update all of them except for under 14B. Remember to go and study your insert and update statements as they look different from your select and delete. So we start with update, then a table name, then set, and then the field name that I want to change, and an equal sign. It's not an assignment statement, it's just an equal sign. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking the existing number of games won, and I'm adding 1 to it. So if they had 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, and our 6 will be stored as number of games won for that record. But remember, we had to exclude under 14B. So I've just used where team name is not equal to under 14B. Very important is these quotes because team name is a text data type and also that little space there. Thank you for watching Dandelion Delphi tutorials. If you are looking for more explanations on SQL, you will find that in the Dandelion Delphi book number 2. Hope to see you soon.